Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's YouTube video, I guess, podcast, mini podcast. It's not a real podcast because somebody actually asked why my podcast isn't up on like the podcast apps. It's not a real podcast. I just call it a podcast because it's not really a video. So, yeah, just a mini podcast, but welcome. I'm recording this on my phone, so let's see if the audio is good. I can't record on my microphone as of yet because I got a new laptop and the new MacBooks don't have the USB ports or whatever, so I have to get an adapter. So until then, we're rocking with the good old phone. The message is still coming through regardless, so it's A-okay. Today, we are going to be discussing the Matrix versus the Anti-Matrix. I talked about this briefly on Twitter, and so I decided to expand on it, and I posted a picture. The picture is the, like the cover of this video, so you'll see the picture on the cover of this video. It's just all of the circles, and I'll explain what they represent as we're talking. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Matrix versus the Anti-Matrix. Before we get started, if you want a personal reading, description box will have the link where you can get a reading with me. They're 20% off right now for the Halloween thing, being festive, whatever. So that ends on November 3rd, so definitely check it out. I just opened November bookings because October was all booked up, so definitely check it out, and please carefully read all of the instructions for booking before you book with me, because I have terms and conditions, and sometimes people get confused, even though you're supposed to read them before you pay. But yeah, please just make sure you read before you book with me, carefully. And yeah, anything else I need to say? Oh yeah, definitely also make sure you guys check out my Patreon. The link will be in the description box below. The content that I'm posting right now, if you want deeper, more intense occult knowledge, decodings, my astral travels where we get really juicy and say things that are a little too much for social media, YouTube, whatever, that's on Patreon, because I put my live stream playbacks up on there. And if you actually want to be a part of the live discussion and have access to a community where we are constantly discussing occult things that are too deep to say on social media, definitely check out the Secret Love Society. There's also a link in the description box to join our little society, our little network, our collective. Completely awesome. We do live streams up there. We do guided meditations. We do live readings, and then again, constant discussions, constant chat rooms, frequencies, and things like that to discuss whatever you want to discuss spiritually, and even not spiritually. We talk about normal shit in there too all the time. I mean, it's just literally a normal. Think of like a social media network, but a cult, So definitely check that out if that's something you want to be a part of. I put the live stream playbacks up on Patreon. So Patreon has the live stream playbacks as well as exclusive psychic readings, pick a card readings, zodiac readings, spiritual messages, guided meditations go up on there too, so on and so forth. But if you want to actually be a part of the live discussion, the Secret Love Society is what you need to join. Join us, SLS. We just do great things over there. I love that little community. And even when like Facebook was down, even though I don't use Facebook, but when Facebook was down and Instagram was down and Twitter was down, whenever things are having issues, we're always up discussing and talking. So definitely check that out, so you can stay in the know. And yeah, let's just get right into the video. So for this topic, 2 disclaimers, and I'm actually going to put these disclaimers anytime I talk about occult things, just so we are on the same page. 1, I'm not a fearmonger. Never has been, never will be labeled that, and I don't care if people even try to label me that, because I am not a fearmonger. Never been that type of person. I do not believe in fear. I don't live in it. I can't even spell fear, to be honest. You know what I mean? So I'm not a fearmonger. Any information I am giving is completely for you to just know what's going on, for you to be conscious about what's going on. Whatever you want to do with the information is up to you. But I do not put information out there so that you can scream, cry, and throw up. Like, I'm just giving you this information so you know what's going on. Which leads me to my second point, my second disclaimer. I'm a very, very, very neutral person. I am not team anybody. I don't hate any group of beings, any groups of consciousness, whatever, because again, hate, I don't believe in it. I can't even spell hate. I don't operate in hate. To hate something, you have to have an attachment to it. I don't have an attachment to any of this stuff. I have mastered the art of detachment when it comes to decoding, occultism, spiritual science, all of it. I am a scientist. I observe and I decode and I get the message, and that's it. I'm not a part of any agendas. I am a spiritual free agent, like I call myself, no affiliation. I am just giving you guys the information. You do with it what you need to do with it, and that's it, right? So just wanted to start with those things because, yeah, right. I know there are some people within the community that people lump spirituality into, I guess. I know there's some people who are bots, they're part of agendas, affiliations. Not me at all. Just regular. Well, I'm not regular, but you know what I'm trying to get across here, right? So let's get right into it. Enough blabbling. I can't believe we're 6 minutes in. So matrix versus anti-matrix. What is the difference between the two and what's going on with those things? Matrix. Matrix is the original source, I guess you can say, the original intelligence, the original womb, the original mother energy that has birthed us. So matrix is the mother, the illusions of the mother, or the more so the vision of the mother, right? That's the matrix we operate in. So this is where consciousness is happening in the matrix, in the mother's vision, which reminds me of Wanda's vision, but we'll talk about that in another video, I guess. But yeah, so we are existing in the mother's vision. We are existing in the mother's womb. This is the cosmic womb. This is the original intelligence. That's what the Matrix is. Because of the movies The Matrix and New Ageism and things like that, people believe that the Matrix is like the bad part of life that we kind of, or the bad reality that we operate in. They believe that's the programming. They believe that that's like the bad one, I guess you could say, right? They believe the matrix is what you're trying to rise above. They believe the matrix is what you're trying to escape, but that's not true. And I think we do have to start to talk about the word usage when it comes to the matrix versus the anti-matrix, because it's actually the anti-matrix that is the programming, that is the distorted reality that we live in, that operates within the original matrix. And the anti-matrix is the programmed matrix, and it is the matrix that they have been creating and are continuing to create to remove us further from the original matrix, the original intelligence source or mother, and trying to move us into a complete universe or realm of reality or realms of reality where the mother doesn't exist. So I strongly believe, I'm not going to say that this is 100% true, but this is what I believe. I believe that the whole concept of the Matrix, like the movies and the painting of escaping the Matrix, is actually to push their agendas. And whose agendas? And why would they be pushing that? What's the point? Well, let me break something down for you really quick. So the Freemasons, you know what I'm referring to. The free, and I'm saying it like that for a reason. The Freemasons and Freemasonry, their goal is to escape the matrix. They're trying to remove themselves from the consciousness of mother, from the consciousness of the original womb, original intelligence, to create their own realms of reality that's void of the mother. So if you look at the picture of the video that I have up, the big circle, that's the mother, that's the matrix, the original matrix. And then all of the smaller circles are programmed matrices or distorted matrices that aren't completely based on the original mother energy. It's like hybrid matrices or hybrid universes. And slowly but surely, it's moving us completely away from the matrix to where the original matrix is 100% matrix, 100% mother energy, to All the way, if you see the smallest circle, you could say that's like what, 10% mother, 90% anti. So if you look at where the arrow is, where the circle is kind of hanging out just a little bit, that is what they're trying to create to completely escape the mother. Now, have they created that space yet? I can't say for sure because I haven't done enough reawakening of my cosmic memory to really be able to tap into that yet, and I haven't done enough you know searching through the Akashic records and astral traveling to even get into that yet. So I can't 100% say that they have created that universe or that realm of reality or the anti-matrix completely that exists outside of Mother. But what I will say is I strongly believe that the metaverses that they're creating, which I talked about in the last video, I believe that the metaverses is their attempt to be sons free of the Ma, right? So I believe that the whole escaping the matrix thing and painting the matrix as bad is all a part of their agenda to push the concept of escaping the mother. This is why we see so many attacks on feminine energy, so many attacks on the womb space in general, and why there's a push to make the womb space, the natural womb space, not needed anymore. They're trying to create incubators or false wombs, AI wombs, digital wombs, void of mother energy, so that they can create their false matrix or their anti-matrix, their distorted matrix that exists outside of the mother. And I believe that the metaverse is going to be that reality that exists outside of the mother. So the reason why they're trying to exist outside of the mother or create matrices that exist outside of the mother and are void of mother energy is because there are some beings who cannot completely exist or comfortably exist in 100% mother energy. There's also some beings who are jealous of that energy. They're anti-energy. They were created out of anti-energy. So there's a natural despising of the original energy. And there are some beings who prefer lower realms of reality, and they prefer it so much that they want to create a permanent lower realm of reality that exists off the mother grid, because they don't want to play by the rules that kind of exist within the matrix that we exist in consciously right now, the original matrix. They want to be able to exist outside of the laws of the universe so that they can do whatever their personal agendas are, so that they can be true kings of their own matrices. And they want to have beings that can exist alongside of them to continue to fund their matrix, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to rule over nothing. People want to have people that are lower than them, or at least those beings do. They want to have people that are lower than them so that they're so that they can feel like they have a high rank, basically. So they need beings that are void of consciousness to exist, aka trying to remove people from their consciousness, creating NPCs, creating artificial beings, and things like that to continue their universe. But also, here's another thing. If you look at the bottom of the screen and you see that little piece of the circle existing, hanging outside of the original mother, there's still that little piece of the mother that's still existing, even if it's just 1%. They still need that piece of the mother to continue their universe. So at the end of the day, even if 99% of their universe or their metaverse exists outside of the mother, still 1% of mother energy within their matrix that has to keep their matrix thriving. And sometimes I wonder if that's where the whole concept of the 144,000 chosen ones come from. I think that maybe the number of conscious beings needed to continue their reality, that may be the 1%, to continue their reality, or their metaverse, because they still need 1% of consciousness to exist in their realms of reality. Even if it's an anti-matrix, they still need 1% of original mother existing to continue their metaverses. So I don't know if that's where the concept of the whole 144 comes from, or if when they void people from when they remove people from their consciousness, like I talked in the Metaverse video, please go watch it if you didn't already listen to it so you can understand what I'm saying. But remember when I was saying that they have to remove their egos, identities, or consciousness in order to be able to exist in the metaverse reality? I'm wondering too if when they're creating complete NPCs in their metaverses and having people remove their consciousness in order to exist in that metaverse or that dream reality through digital, what is it called again? VR glasses and digital whatever. It's like virtual reality glasses and stuff like that. When you enter the virtual reality glasses, it's like by putting the glasses on, you're removing your consciousness. And it's crazy because when you see VR glasses, they are dark glasses, completely dark, and they're blinding you. And again, when you're blind, you lack consciousness. You lack the ability to perceive, what's going on consciously. It's like closing your eyes and going to sleep, but you're putting on these goggles, so it's removing them of their consciousness as soon as they put on the goggles. And I wonder if the consciousness that they're being removed from temporarily to enter the metaverses, if that energy is being stored somewhere. And I kind of got a download about like the whole iCloud thing with like iPhones and how as above so below and what they're doing with the metaverse and the iClouds. I'm wondering if they're going to take the consciousness of beings and kind of store it in an iCloud to act as the 1% needed as well, just in case the 144 don't pull through or escape their reality to exist outside of the metaverse, whatever. So yes, we have the matrix and then we have the anti-matrix. The anti-matrix is the matrix that is being created with low levels of mother energy, and eventually they are trying to be sons free of the ma and have everybody else who joins them and their NPCs also be beings free of the ma. And I believe they're trying to achieve this through the metaverse, and the 1% of consciousness needed to continue their metaverse, again, is either going to be the leftover consciousness from the NPCs once they put on their VR goggles, or it's going to be the 144. Based on downloads, I keep seeing the 144, and I say that because the consciousness, I think, has to be like actual high levels of consciousness. And in order to even be an NPC, you have low levels of consciousness. So I truly believe that the 144 that they need to be high frequency beings. So a lot of people ask, well, what can we do? How can we stop this? How can we escape this? So on and so forth. And I honestly, a lot of people always ask me these questions whenever I talk about anything occult wise. And I don't like that question. And the reason why I don't like that question is because someone who's asking that question to me is someone who's afraid of death and someone who is unsure or insecure about their own levels of consciousness. Because the only way that you can do something that you don't want to do is if you are not strong and rooted in your spirit and your consciousness and your body and your soul. So there's nothing to try to do because other than being even more grounded in yourself and your spirit and your spiritual purpose, because at the end of the day, that's all you really can do. Everything could end tomorrow and you're still going to continue as your consciousness in some other realm of reality or in some other way. Whenever I'm in the astral state and I'm taken out through death, I always wake back up somewhere else. So life keeps going. We see death happen all the time. When the sun goes up and the sun goes down, you know that rebirth exists because the sun comes back up the next day. The moon, our cells are dying every second. We are experiencing death literally every second. Even when you blink, when you lose your eyelashes, when you lose your hair, it grows back. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You should not be afraid of death. I understand why you would be afraid of it, but that's also all a part of their plan because they're trying to push immortality, because in their metaverses, that's what they're trying to achieve, immortality, right? And although the beings that are doing this, they in a way experience immortality, they don't experience it genuinely. They experience it through cycles and transitions. And they're trying to remove the transition process because the transition process, I'm sure, is a pain in the ass for them. They just want to be completely immortal. They don't want to have to worry about transitioning and shape-shifting and things like that. So they're trying to achieve 100% immortality. Even in Lovecraft country, you see that kind of happening. So of course, if you fear death, you would obviously get along with the or go along with the immortality agenda that they're pushing easier, because you don't want to die. You know, people who are afraid of death don't want to die. I'm not afraid. Like I said, fear doesn't exist in my lands. I cannot spell fear because I've died to even get to this lifetime. To be Indy, I've had died, right? And I've died even in this lifetime many times to get to the person I am today. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It is just a mere transition, and then you go somewhere else. And if you're rooted in your spirit and your consciousness, you don't have to worry about being tricked and deceived into doing anything, right? Even with what's going on right now, whether or not you are going to take something, and you know what I'm referring to, or not take it. There's a lot of people who haven't been taking it because we are rooted in our choice, our consciousness, our ability to make decisions, our spiritual discernment, so on and so forth, right? So there's nothing to fear. The only thing to do is to be rooted even more in self, to be grounded, to have a strong heart chakra, to, you know, discover even more about your consciousness, about your spiritual identity, about your ego, about your spiritual mission, keeping your connection to divine source and the original intelligence versus the distorted intelligence or the artificial intelligence. And yeah, there's really nothing to be afraid of. Like I said, I'm telling this information so you know what's going on, so that you can continue to remain to remain conscious, and then to be rooted in your consciousness so you can make the decisions that you want to make. Some people, they may say they want to exist in the metaverse. Can you stop them? No. There's nothing like, people are like, oh, well, how can we stop this from happening to other people? At the end of the day, this is something you have to remember. Everybody has a choice. And all we can do is try to lift up the veil that are over people's eyes so that they can make their decisions. Some people want to be asleep. Some people want to exist in these metaverses. Some people may actually want to do this stuff. The concept of even being asleep is still, in a way, people don't want to hear it, but it's a choice. Even if it's a small one, it's a choice. And that's actually what's going on with whether you're going to take something or not. You know what I'm referring to? That whole thing, the whole decoding behind that is a choice. It's a choice on whether or not you are going to want to participate in what's to come. So everyone has their choice. Let people have their choice. All you can do is like what I'm doing, trying to awaken people. I mean, not awaken people. I'm not even trying to wake people. I'm just trying to give people the information to make a solid decision. You know, I'm not here or down with making anybody's decisions for them, because at the end of the day, if you aren't even on a frequency to be able to make a smart decision, I wonder if you're ready to make that decision in the first place. You know what I mean? So don't focus on trying to save others. If you want to save others, save yourself. You know, boost your frequency. The more people who boost their own frequency, the collective is going to feel it. But don't try to force anybody to do anything, because at the end of the day, everyone has a choice. Every conscious being has a choice. Whether or not you like that decision or choice, it doesn't matter. Focus on yourself. That's the anti-matrix versus the matrix. Again, we're seeing the anti-matrix agenda right now with all of this artificial intelligence being pushed. Like artificial intelligence, I already talked about it on Twitter. These AI hybrid beings literally exist amongst us. And although we're all hybrid beings, to even be able to exist in a piece of the anti-matrix, we still have that original energy in us, right? That Ma-in, M-A-N, man, Ma-in. We still have that within us. And then some people are mixed with different beings, whether galactic, reptilian, and septilian. Some people are mixed with AI. Some people are mixed with mother energy. Some people are complete man. Like, you know, we're all different hybrids and stuff like that. That's why people don't always agree on everything. And then also because of the concept of the ego. We all have our own identities. But there are AI hybrid beings being pushed on us, but also existing amongst us. That's why you see these like AI people being introduced through like movies and like iRobot and things like that, or even there's a girl band, I think it's K-pop, where the members of their band are literally AI beings. That one episode of Black Mirror with, not, I was about to call her Hannah Montana. What's her name? Hannah Montana, the actress. She was replaced by her AI being for she was a singer and she was replaced. They didn't need her anymore. They just needed her AI being's energy to kind of keep her legacy going. So we're seeing it even in the movie Pixel Perfect, where the lead singer, and we're seeing it a lot through like bands and music, these AI beings, even like the holographs or the holograms, bringing people back from the dead with the holograms in the music industry. I'm gonna guess it's being pushed in music because not only is music extremely popular in pop culture, so it's very persuasive, but music is also one of the easiest way to program people because of frequencies, right? So I wonder if that's why it's being pushed through like music and things like that, themes around music. But yeah, we're already seeing the transhumanism agenda, the AI agenda, even with chimera ants and these shows where humans are mixing with animals and all different types of beings. We see it through plastic surgery, microchips. We even see it with our phones. Our phones are basically an AI version of us. And I can make a different video about that if you guys want, because that's a major download that I got like a while ago. But our phones are basically our AI doubles. So that kind of already like exists. So that's why, you have to, can't completely escape it, but you can control it, So you gotta watch how you operate with your phone and how you talk to your phone and how much time you spend with your phone and where your phone is and what you say around your phone. You know what I mean? You gotta tweak it a little bit, manipulate it. But yeah, we're already seeing this agenda going on and things like that. So yeah, I mean, this is what's happening. So let's see what's next, I guess. But anyway, yeah. Anti-Matrix versus the Matrix. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in my next one.